50% of America's most highly valued tech firms were founded either by first or second generation immigrants. So I think it's clear diversity is not something charitable, it is a solid business case. But how can we activate this sometimes hidden potential in our society? Here to talk to that today is Min-Sung Kim. He is the managing partner at Berlin-based VC fund Digital Health Ventures, and he's also the co-founder of 2hearts. It is such a wonderful name, and it's a community of people with immigration backgrounds from the tech industry who have the mission to empower great talent with immigration backgrounds to enrich Europe's tech economy. Please welcome with me on stage Min-Sung Kim.
Hi. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Min-Sung Kim. I'm a partner in a venture capital fund based here in Berlin. I've done this for, I think, around 10 years now, doing early stage investment, growth stage investment, and late stage investments for various companies, like, for instance, Allianz X and Samsung Catalyst Fund. But I'm also, and this is why I'm here today, a co-founder of 2hearts. And, you know, I don't look like it, but I was actually born in Germany, in Hamburg. So every time when I go to Israel and I say, I'm from Germany, they're like, oh, this is how the new Germans look like. We gotta be more careful. Yeah? Just kidding. But I guess, like many of you, you are a product, or we are a product of globalization. And because of that, I today want to talk to you about diversity. And this is actually a weird topic for me to talk about. And you know, I had to think a long time to actually come up with a presentation like that, because usually I talk about slides about, you know, venture capital trends, funding trends, M&A trends, etc. And so it was a little bit harder for me to grasp that topic. So to tell you, my presence here in Germany with my Korean genes is pretty unlikely. My father, he was a fisherman, a poor fisherman in South Korea. South Korea in the 60s was one of the poorest countries in the world. Yet, he had larger dreams. He was thinking about going to a different country, to a better new life through hard work and perseverance. So he actually worked on a ship, on a big tanker, and somehow, you know, he saw the world, and the tanker, or the ship, was repaired in Hamburg, here in Germany. So this is where he met my mother. She was a nurse, working in a hospital. In the 1970s, there was a nursing crisis here in Germany. And so this is where they actually met. They didn't only share an improbable love, but they also shared an abiding faith in the possibility of an open and democratic society. They gave me a Korean name, believing that in a tolerant society, names are not a barrier to success. They imagined their children going to the best schools, although they weren't rich, like in Korea, because in a generous society, you don't need to be rich to fulfill your full potential. I told you we weren't really rich, but somehow my father managed, you know, to give us a home in a very nice neighborhood. And as you can see, I was the only different-looking person in that neighborhood. And I went with the preppiest kids to school that you can imagine, and all their fathers, they were desk workers, you know, managers working in a bank, working, you know, doing a desk job. And I remember up to this day, my father always had dirty hands because he was lifting beverage cases. He had a small shop. And I was, because of that, and he spoke his German was super bad. And I was really ashamed. Yeah. Further, I thought, I'm always German because, all my friends were German. And I went to, and I don't know, I looked into the mirror, and then I didn't see a German person looking back. It was always a Korean person. And then I thought, okay, I must go back to Korea, and there is my home. So the next time I actually went to Korea, I stepped off the plane and said, my people, I'm back. And they were like, you look Korean, but you don't talk like us. You have a huge accent. You don't eat like us. You don't walk like us. I don't even know how to walk Korean, but yeah. But they said, like, you're not one of our own. So I actually went back. And I was like, where do I belong? And I tried to be very, very, very much German now. And I saw my heritage as a handicap, as a liability. And then looking back at my father, who didn't even really speak German, I said, like, oh, you need to assimilate yourself more. And looking back now, reflecting this, I feel like a complete douche, like this guy. And further reflecting it, there are, I think, two principles here that immigrant parents give to their children. The first principle, and it's a very, it has tragic effects. The first principle is that adapting is the recipe for success. So when you come to a new country and you don't speak the language, you need to adapt yourself. And this was a winning principle, and they pass it on to the next generation, to us. And we internalized that, and then we looked at our parents like, you're not adapted, you're not successful. And the second thing, that a principle that our parents gave to us was hard work, honest and hard work, to always go the extra mile. Because their place in our society was not a given. It needed to be earned every day. And so we know we need to go the extra mile. We know that perseverance and hard work is the difference between winning and losing, the difference between climbing up the ladder or falling down the ladder. And after 10 years of global investment around the world, and I just realized, embracing this heritage that I try to always push away, because I didn't want to be part of my parents' story, although, they had so much accomplishment to show. They came into a country where they did not have any money, they did not know the language, but somehow they managed to build a home and take care of their children. And somehow I didn't want to be part of that story because I was trying to push that heritage away. But, working in global investment firms, I realized embracing that heritage is an asset. And working hard is also an asset. And this is why the time I thought, how can I contribute? How can I contribute with that special asset, with that complementary skill set and cultural background that I have? And there are a lot of challenges, global challenges that require a diverse mindset. Yeah, and there is a climate change. And also, there are the rising tension between democracies and authoritarian regimes. All the digital hacking and the trolls, etc., And there are digitalization. Decades we relied on certain industries that conserved our wealth, our prosperity of this nation or of our continent. But digitalization is challenging these industries, and we need people, to help us come up with new technological innovations. We need. 5 years ago we talked about, Germany needs skilled workers. Now we just need workers. When you go to the restaurants, for instance, we need people. Otherwise, we cannot sustain growth. And as a venture capitalist, I very much believe that technology can play a very important role to solve these kind of global challenges. But we need to invest into teams, into startups that are actually introducing these technological solutions and innovations to the market. And when you look, and this is a report by Kleiner Perkins, and sorry, I'm a VC, so I love data, so I need to show you at least 2 charts, I promise. Yeah. This is from Kleiner Perkins. This was a venture capital Bible. Every year they were coming out with a new internet trend report. They say that 60% in the US of the tech unicorns are founded by first and second generation founders, immigrants. So what about Europe? What about this potential that we might have in our continent? Further, and we talk about diversity all the time, and I'm really tired of hearing, wow, we need diversity because then we are more successful. And I was like, where's the data? I finally found this, and a friend from Silicon Valley Bank, he actually sent me this data. Now, this is a recent study by McKinsey that shows that diversity correlates with financial performance. There you go. And so combining this, we understood why we have to found 2hearts. Helping young people to understand that their heritage is not a liability, is not a handicap. It's an asset for our society to solve the problems that we have, because technological innovations are so important. We are working hard, but we need to give these young kids access to the position where they can actually have the chance to solve these kind of things. And my story that I told you just now is just one story out of, like, I think we have 1,600 members by now. And the number is still growing. And we do that with, with a community platform, with mentoring. And people are actually meeting in different cities, because they feel home. They feel they don't belong really to Germany. Or let's say they feel German, but they don't look like Germans. And when they go home, they don't have a home there. So, they like to meet up and talk about technology. But let me emphasize something. It's not about only focusing on diversity, only saying like, hey, we are here, we're different, we need to get respect. It's about how can we come together? How can we contribute to our wealth, to the prosperity of our society? Because you can segmentate groups. When it comes to diversity, you can segmentate, and it's an endless task. You can segmentate. But I think, what we would like to emphasize as a community is how can we contribute to conserve, to help the society. And that's why our mission is empowering great talent with immigration background to enrich European tech economy. So I would like to stop here. But one more thing. I got to realize that diversity matters. Why? Because diversity drives innovation. And innovation is super necessary to tackle those global challenges that we face as a society, as a whole. And it's one of the major strengths of democracies. So we can stand strong in the future against all those authoritarian regimes that are trying to challenge our systems. Thank you very much. And we have here Oktay, one of our co-founders, also Inura, our general secretary. Please reach out to us and see what we can do. Give these young people a chance to contribute their diverse solutions for the upcoming challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Min Sung.